Would you marry for love, marry for money, marry for great sex, or marry for great adventure?
Apakah dia seorang yang jahat, yang buruk? Tidak. Apakah dia seorang gold digger? Maybe.
Hi beautiful souls, welcome back to our channel. Hari ini kita bakal bahas tentang gold digger versus gold digger. Beda loh. Tapi sebelumnya, gue pengen nanya lo. Walaupun gold digger isn't always associated with marriage, tapi tetap aja pertanyaan adalah, would you marry for love, marry for money, marry for great sex, or marry for great adventure? Nah, personally gue juga udah minta teman-teman gue jawab nih di poll. Hasilnya 55% surprisingly chose great adventure. Mending piknik ya daripada cinta kali ya. Tapi kita juga pengen tahu kalian pilih apa. Dan kalau kalian bisa tebak gue sama Michelle pilih apa, dikasih hadiah.
Kenapa tadi kita sempat kasih pertanyaan yang berhubungan dengan marriage related? Karena sebenarnya not trying to be stereotyping, seringkali marriage itu dijadikan goal dalam hidup certain people. Dan ada misi terselubung di baliknya. Menikah dengan siapa menjadi ultimate goal lebih daripada setup goal untuk diri sendiri, terutama dalam hal personal growth dan juga achievement kita as a person. Now Wida, please enlighten us the difference between gold digger and gold digger.
Nah, ini bedanya. Kalau gold digger itu kayak si paman gober, melakukan segala cara untuk mendapatkan kekayaan materi. Mau berupa duit, berupa stocks, berupa apapun lah itu, barang-barang branded, barang-barang luxurious. Nah, walaupun orang kebanyakan mengasosiasikan ini dengan ya udah getting married with someone super rich and old, so they're gonna die in a couple of seconds, terus langsung ambil duitnya. Yang kedua, gold digger, apa bedanya? Gold digger itu orang yang memiliki tujuan dalam kehidupannya, menjadi sukses, memiliki keluarga. Lah, tentunya memang materi salah satu faktor di dalam mencapai tujuan itu. Tetapi cara pandangnya beda. You know, the gold that they obtain is more sustainable. Artinya mereka lebih willing to work for something and try hard to gain that gold. Okay?
By the time Anna was 26, the whole world knew her name. She was a famous playmate for the Playboy magazine. She was a model for Guess, and one year even raked in a whopping $22 million. It seems as though all her dreams had come true. Anna had reached for the stars, and now she finally was one too. Despite having become a household name, Anna couldn't help but still feel like she was that small-town girl that nobody loved. The money, the fame, the mansions, it was nothing but a distraction from the emptiness that she felt inside. All Anna wanted was to be loved, and sadly, she seemed to look in all the wrong places for it. Still desperately seeking the approval of her mother, the model showered her family with gifts too. One Christmas evening, Anna had invited everyone over in the family to celebrate and had bought everyone an abundance of expensive gifts, some of which included a TV for her mother and even a car for her aunt. Unfortunately, her family didn't stay long after the exchange of gifts and left no more than half an hour later. Anna was left alone, shattered, and feeling more used than ever before. She began to think that people only saw her worth in her money and her looks. Soon, the pills Anna had been taking for her back pain were being used far too often. She would spend late nights out drinking, partying with friends, numbing her pain with alcohol and whatever substances she could get her hands on. One night, it all seemed to go too far when she overdosed on a mixture of prescription drugs and alcohol. She was found alone and unconscious in her hotel room and was immediately rushed to the hospital. Her overdose was plastered all over the tabloids the next day, and Anna was immediately dropped by her acting and modeling agents. Nobody wanted to work with her anymore. Overnight, Anna had been swept under the carpet of Hollywood to be forgotten. But there was one man who still wanted her, and it was J. Howard Marshall. After several attempts, Anna finally accepted his proposal, and the couple were married in 1994. The world was shocked, and the marriage seemed like a joke. What was Anna doing marrying a man who was 27 years her senior? She was labeled a gold digger, and if it was even possible, Hollywood turned its nose even higher up at the model. But the marriage did not last long. Just 14 months after they were married, Marshall passed away and in his will left absolutely nothing to Smith. A bitter legal battle ensued, with Anna demanding her half of her now late husband's fortune. The court did not rule in her favor, and soon she had to declare bankruptcy.
Guys, kebayangkan bedanya gold digger dengan gold digger? Meskipun itu agak semi-semi mirip, tapi sebenarnya ada bedanya. Sebelum aku jelasin lagi ya perbedaannya, aku kasih tahu nih satu contoh koplak yang dialamin a dear friend of mine berhubungan sama orang yang gold digger. Mungkin terkesannya nih orang itu sangat goal oriented, tapi yang menjadikan dia seorang gold digger adalah dia lebih value goalnya, keuntungannya lebih daripada si kawan kita ini. Nah jadi ada this friend of mine, dia dikontak oleh teman lamanya dia yang udah temen SD atau SMP gitu ya kalau nggak salah, yang udah lama banget nggak ketemu, nggak pernah kontekan whatsoever, tiba-tiba all of a sudden ngontek kayak, hey how are you, let's meet up yuk, nah. Terus my friend ini juga karena emang koplak ya, dan juga mungkin karena udah sering di approach sama orang yang selalu berkepentingan di belakangnya, jadi dia sambilan nge-poking juga, mungkin tadinya tuh niatannya bercanda. Jadi dia bilang, oh hi bro, apa kabar? Kayak been a while ya, jarang-jarang nih lo kontak, kok tiba-tiba kontak langsung nyecer ngajakin ketemu. Lo bukan agen asuransi kan? No offense buat semua insurance agent di luar sana, I have no beef against you all, ini cuma cerita ya. Habis diskakmat kayak gitu sama my friend, gue sih ayo-ayo aja kok kalau mau ketemu. Cuman gue mau kasih tahu di depan juga ya, gue lagi nggak butuh insurance, just so you know, supaya lo juga nggak buang waktu lo. Digituin langsung tidak ada kabar, tidak ada berita, nggak even bother untuk replying my friend's message. Sebenarnya, apakah dia seorang yang jahat, yang buruk? Tidak. Apakah dia seorang gold digger? Maybe. Gold digger iya, dia mungkin goal oriented, tapi kayak dia nggak bother sama my friends punya feelings, dia nggak bother untuk invest in a relationship or like whatsoever. Ya memang kita emang harus memilah-milah sih. Cuman kayak begitu dia langsung tahu dia nggak akan dapetin apa yang dia mau, langsung kayak bye, whatever, kayak I don't need you. Nah itu dia. Maksudnya perbedaan antara gold digger dengan gold digger. Semua orang pasti punya goal, semua orang pasti punya tujuan. Tapi yang membedakan kita antara gold digger atau gold digger, gimana kita valuing tujuan kita itu dan apa yang kita willing untuk sacrifice. Kalau kita sampai lebih mementingkan goal kita dan mengesampingkan semuanya, kayak seakan-akan tidak ada yang penting selain main goalnya kita, nah itu yang juga ngebuatnya jadinya salah ya. Dan kalau misalnya ditanya, uang itu penting gak sih? Materi itu penting gak sih? Ya pastilah ya. Nggak munafik juga lah, gimana caranya lo bisa hidup kalau lo nggak punya uang? Gimana caranya lo bisa function kalau misalnya you juga nggak ada achievement, nggak ada portfolio yang lo bisa banggakan dalam hidup lo? Yang pastinya itu juga yang kita kejar ya dalam hidup. Tapi itu juga bukan yang paling utama. Lumrah adanya untuk mengejar materi, mengejar goal yang kita punya, yang kita udah set dalam hidup kita. Yang membedakan adalah, ya again, how far are you willing to go? And derajatnya tuh sampai mana? What are you willing to sacrifice? In what expense? That's what makes it difference. Kalau dari awal fokusnya cuma purely materi semata, ya udah bener-bener fix gold digger, udah nggak ada lagi penjelasannya. Apalagi kalau rela mengorbankan relationship, mengorbankan orang lain, even mengorbankan hal yang paling berharga, misalnya your value, your integrity, your honor for the sake of money or any other material things. Caranya bisa macam-macam ya. Let me give you one example of a person yang sebenarnya sangat gold digger, tapi the gold atau keuntungan atau privilege-nya come as a byproduct dari dia yang tahu apa yang dia harus set priority. Let me give one example of a person, very influential person yang satu dunia tahu dia siapa. Dia adalah orang yang sangat goal oriented, tapi akhirnya karena dia tahu what to prioritize in life and what to value in life, money atau gold atau keuntungannya atau privilege-nya come as the byproduct of her success. Who is she? As you guys probably predict, Oprah. She's like my hero. She is special person. Kenapa? Karena dia bukan dari, ya as you guys know, dia adalah one of the most influential lady in the world right now, terlepas daripada nama-nama hebat lainnya ya, dan juga one of the most successful lady yang di Hollywood. Bukan karena dia segitu banyaknya main film dan lalat, tapi karena influence yang dia berhasil untuk raih, impact yang dia bisa berikan kepada dunia, dan juga charitable foundationsnya, production house-nya, dan lain sebagainya. Oprah bukan datang dari keluarga yang very privileged. Dia mengalami banyak dalam during her growing up. Dia pernah got the molestations, dia pernah dapat kekerasan. Dia maksudnya hidupnya tuh ghetto banget sebelumnya. There were times dimana dia nggak even punya new clothes to celebrate Christmas. Dia nggak even bisa celebrate the holiday with the family because she grew up very poor back then. Even mamanya harus ngomong kayak, I'm sorry, we're not gonna celebrate Christmas this year because we're like lagi dalam posisi yang sangat terpuruk. Sampai akhirnya dia ditolong sama kayak this charitable person yang itu yang membuat pengaruh dalam hidupnya. Dia tahu rasanya waktu dia lagi in need dan ada orang yang come as a savior yang membantu untuk light up the mood, light up the burden. Mungkin bukan something much, tapi dia diberikan mainan, dia diberikan makanan, dia diberikan the holiday mood ya, kayak pakaian yang baru apa untuk bisa celebrate Christmas with the family. Perasaan bahagia dan perasaan bersyukurnya dia tuh mengena sampai sepanjang hayatnya. Jadi akhirnya gara-gara dari situ, dia akhirnya memutuskan she wants to grow up to be a successful person so that she could help other underprivileged children yang mungkin ada di posisinya dia saat dia kecil itu bisa feel like they belong, that they matter, that they can still celebrate something, that they can still feel hopeful and grateful about their life. Dari situ dia bekerja dengan sangat keras. I'm sure waktu awal-awal Oprah meniti karirnya pasti dia sangat goal driven banget, sangat terfokus karena dia tahu apa yang dia mau tuju. Dia nggak mau kembali ke titik di mana dia pernah berada sebelumnya. Apakah dia menjadi gold digger? No. But she become one of the richest among other Hollywood people. Karena kenapa? Dia tahu what to prioritize. Dia tahu what to value. Dan akhirnya dari value yang dia punya, the gold come as the byproduct of her success. Dan nggak cuma itu aja, dia happens to have like a lot of charitable foundations, sekolah, kayak charity, whatsoever, sampai dia benar-benar bisa reach many. That is the example of true gold digger. Karena dari sana goldnya datang sendiri, mengejar orang dengan quality dan hati dan integrity yang sesuai, yang pantas. Kalau kita memilih materi lebih daripada value, integrity, and moral, sooner or later, apapun yang kita udah achieve, it will be gone. You will lose it because you don't know its real value. And in life, the real value is not purely about material things. Meskipun tidak bisa dipisahkan dari material things ya untuk kita bisa survive dan hidup. Jadi, beware of that.
So are you guys familiar with the case of Abby Choi? That's an example of covetousness. Apa sih katanya aneh banget? Covetousness. Itu artinya keinginan yang sangat ekstrim untuk memiliki apa yang orang lain punya. Gue ceritain nih, si Abby Choi itu socialite yang sangat famous di Hong Kong gitu, cakep, tajir lagi. Nah dia itu selalu berantem sama mantan suaminya. Ya waktu dulu kan udah nikah ya, pas nikah juga berantemnya tentang duit, segala macem. Akhirnya cerai. Dan akhirnya dia menemukan suami yang baik dan punya anak juga. Suatu hari, dia nggak muncul pas harus jemput anaknya dari sekolah. Akhirnya pada investigasi tuh, kenapa? Ternyata benar Mbak Abi dibunuh. Nah bayangin, lo mau makan cendol, buka kulkas, tiba-tiba ada potongan badannya Mbak Abi. Misalnya mau makan sop di tanggal tua, tiba-tiba ada tengkoraknya sama tulang rusuknya Mbak Abi. You know it, we always end each episode with some messages for you. It's okay to be materialistic, karena materi itu penting. To some extent, we are all materialistic. Tapi yang membedakan antara gold digger dan gold digger adalah to what degree you're willing to sacrifice your friends, your morals, your integrity to get that ass bitch. Okay, next. Kita nggak judge sih. You know, you do you. But pay attention to gold diggers karena kalau moral compassnya sampai integrity bisa dipertanyakan karena dia bisa bunuh orang, dia juga bisa bunuh lo. Just kidding. No, not really. Intinya, you are disposable because their currency is always money. If they don't see you as a benefit for their life, they will just throw you away. Ya mungkin gak dibunuh sih, tapi ya udah gak jadi temen lagi deh. Goodbye, bitch.
Surround yourself with goal-driven people, not the gold digger one. Karena dengan siapa kamu bergaul, dengan siapa you surround yourself with, your value will adapt from your surroundings juga. Whether you like it or not, your surroundings will play a huge influence on you. How you perceive things, how you value things, how you value yourself. Nggak semua growth or achievement or development itu tolak ukurnya berdasarkan dari how much you earn. Meskipun successful people nowadays dilihat juga berdasarkan nggak cuma influence dan impactnya, tapi ya berapa yang dia earn dan berapa yang dia bisa bagikan ya. But again, you need to find things in life that instill value in you from within. Kayak your education, your value, your spiritual well-being, your health, your skill, your expertise. Like you need that for your survival, your everyday life. Money aja won't be able to save you. When you have lots of money but you don't have value, you will just attract the wrong people that will, use you, yang akan hanya mengumpulkan gold digger bersama-sama untuk ngeruk. And then when you don't serve their purpose, you'll be thrown away just like trash, and you don't want that, right? And you don't want to be that person juga pastinya. So you need value to be rooted in your core. Make yourself as an asset. So your assets is not purely berapa banyak money or privilege that you have. Your true assets adalah yourself, your educations, your health, your spirituality, your integrity, your moral compass. Tapi hati-hati juga buat orang yang julid selalu ngomongin value, tapi juga tidak ada personal growth or tidak ada achievementnya. Bisa-bisa bahasa-bahasa yang indah-indah itu digunakan hanya untuk ngejulitin those yang udah punya pencapaian dan achievement dalam hidupnya mereka. Jangan sampai kita juga jadinya cuma sirik aja ngomongin orang yang punya duit dan ngatain orang itu gold digger karena kita sendiri belum sampai sana. Jangan. So equip yourself to be able to get there eventually. And ada pepatah yang ngomong what you sow is what you reap. Terkadang dalam hidup itu tidak selalu begitu. Know your boundaries, know your surroundings. Dari ceritanya si that influencers yang Hong Kong, Abby Choi, itu kita bisa belajar juga ya, bahwa just because we have a lot, just because we give a lot doesn't mean yang kembali ke kita juga sesuatu yang bagus. Dia sangat beruang, dia sangat mengenal banyak orang who knows who gitu ya in town, dia punya banyak aset, dia terkenal, sebenarnya dia juga orang baik kan, take care of the family, memberikan yang terbaik yang dia bisa, but she ended in a boiling pot, dimutilasi sama mantan keluarganya dia, misalnya ex-nya sendiri. Sometimes just because you're nice, just because you have a lot, you need to know your boundaries juga. Beware sama gold digger around you. Orang yang paling berbahaya adalah orang yang haus akan sukses. Itu benar banget. Tapi yang lebih berbahaya lagi adalah gold digger yang rela menghalalkan segala cara to get what they want. Sometimes they're willing to throw you under the bus or like to sacrifice you or like their surroundings to get what they want. So steer clear for those kind of people and don't be those kind of people juga. So guys, last but not least, remember, choose your surrounding wisely. Beware of the gold digger one. Surround yourself with the goal-driven people, not the gold digger one. Karena ingat, those kind of people, the gold digger one, adalah orang-orang yang akan rela mengeruk dari kamu, mengambil segala sesuatu yang mereka butuh, and when you don't serve their purpose, you will be thrown away like you were nothing, and you don't need those kind of people in your life. Hati-hati sama this kind of people yang kayak cuma mau ambil dan gak bisa memberikan something in return, dan kayak yang menghalalkan segala cara untuk mencapai apa yang dia inginkan. Beware, do not be that kind of person juga. So put a strong boundaries towards this kind of people, the gold digger people. For gold digger out there yang kebetulan watch this episodes, beware guys, karma itu ada. So hopefully you guys enjoy our episodes this time. Let us know kalau misalnya kalian punya encounter dengan weird gold digger around you, whether it's your surroundings, whether it's your family, whatever. Share it through comment down below or like DM me, reach out to me to my IG if you have any interesting topic to talk about. Who knows if we can feature it in our next episode. So thank you for watching and see you on the next one.